Hello and welcome to the Virtual Cafe. I'm your host, Segilola Salami. Who have I got here with me today?
My name is Kamichi Jackson. I'm an author. My most recent book is called My Name is Kendra. And I have been writing for a couple of years now. It's my second book. I'm looking forward to releasing this because it's a young adult novel. And it was one that was entered in the Amazon Breakthrough Novel Award competition back in 2011. Did very well. I received a good review from Publishers Weekly. Did
Hmm.
nothing. I did nothing with the book for 5 years, and now I'm putting it out full speed ahead, and I'm very excited about what's coming up for 2017.
Oh, cool. So which one's the one? Sorry, because you've mentioned two books now. So is it the K.M. Kendrick that had the Amazon Award?
Yes, My Name is Kendra. Back in 2011, I entered it in the Amazon Breakthrough Novel Award competition. So that's the one that's coming out now, the one that
Ah,
I'm promoting now. Yeah, it's a book I love. I guess the timing wasn't right before, but now I'm ready. So we're going to go ahead with it.
nice. You got a nice review on Publishers. You know what? Before we even start going, I'm getting away with myself. What would you like to have today? It's a cafe after all.
I will have, let's see. I would like some French fries, of course, because you got to have French fries. And I'll have, yeah, that's one of my weaknesses. And I would like a Reuben sandwich. Can you fix that for me?
This is one of those times where I love to say, you Americans, you just have like funky things. What's a Reuben sandwich now, please?
You know,
Oh my.
I don't even know the meat that's inside of it. I just know I like it, and I know you kind of like put it in a pan, and it's really good. I had a feeling when I said it that you might not know what it was, but it's really,
Because
really
the
good
other day,
though.
because the other day someone goes, "Can I have a beer claw?" And I'm like, "What the heck is a beer claw? How am I supposed to know what that is?" I'm
Yeah.
in London. We have regular food. We don't give things
Oh
funky
no.
names.
All right, you know what? I'll have a chicken Caesar salad instead. How about that?
Yes, but no, I'm actually quite intrigued now because you've said something quite amazing. You have a Reuben sandwich, but you don't know what's in it. We don't know the type of meat in it. What if they put
I
snake
really
meat?
don't.
What if they cook
I
snake
don't.
meat?
I don't know. Well, yeah, that would be kind of disgusting. I don't know, but it's really good. Whatever they do to it, it's really good.
No, because seriously, I mean, what does it taste like? Surely you must taste of
You
something.
know. Oh, I don't. I mean, is it? I don't even know what it is, but I know there's also um, cheese, which you can't go wrong with cheese. And then it's got onions, got onions on it. And there might be there's some kind of cabbage type thing going on. I love cabbage. So you put all that together with the meat and you put it between two pieces of bread and you grill it like a grilled cheese sandwich or something like that. And it's really good.
Right. Well, you know what they say, Google is your friend, right?
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
Wikipedia. Apparently, the Reuben sandwich is an American hot sandwich composed of corned beef, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, whatever that is, and Russian dressing grilled between slices of rye bread.
Oh, okay. I just know I love it. It's really good.
Mm,
Well, now I know.
interesting. Yeah, so it's got
Corn.
corned beef,
Okay.
but I don't know what. I have to Google what sauerkraut is. What the heck is that? Um,
All I know, that's that like cabbage like thing to me. I don't know I can't even tell you what it is, but I do know it kind of reminds me of cabbage.
Interesting.
That is
Ah,
so funny.
yes. It's a sauerkraut is a finely cut cabbage that has been
Okay.
fermented by various lactic acid bacteria.
Oh,
Mm.
gracious. Well, now that you've broken it down for me, I will take a salad instead. Oh my goodness. That's
Okay,
wild.
no. Well, things have bacteria everywhere, so they're not necessarily a bad thing. But as long as it tastes yum. Because I was just thinking when you said a Reuben sandwich, like because I know you guys have loads of funky things in America. I was thinking, what if it was snake meat, or what if it was I mean, what else is vile now? Or maybe it was an otter, for instance, and they've just put it
Oh,
in there.
gross. That is highly gross.
Or maybe even horse meat.
Ew. Yeah, I'll pass on that. I'll take the salad and the fries.
Don't worry, in my cafe we only have good food. We don't have any funky
There we
things
go.
at all that will gross you out. Okay,
Well,
so let
thank
me
you.
see. Right, so you want just a normal salad. I'm just gonna put some meat in it, and I have
Okay.
in my freezer that I've got. I'm going to tell you. So you know a turkey, right? So you know
Yeah.
at the I don't know if there's another word. So normally, do you know where the turkey tail is? You know where the tail feather is, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I went to this butcher's the other day and I got a kilo of it and I had it diced into nice little chunks. So I think what
Okay.
I'm gonna have done for your salad, I'm going to and this again. Do you know what? I really and truly do not know how people survived without microwaves, but I swear microwave is the best thing since hooker boots.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. So the other day, I was trying to get the little human ready, and so he was in the bathroom, and I thought, you know what, I haven't really got time to then stop, I wanted the meal to be ready beforehand, so I literally
Mhm.
got some of the turkey tail, put it in a ceramic bowl, put some water in it, put my spices in it, chucked it in the microwave, put it on for about 5-10 minutes, and by the time I came out, sorted out all her bath time and all of those things, it was already cooked. And so all I needed
Mm.
to do was just put it in my deep fryer and chopped it out. So that's what I'm going to get done for you. To
Okay.
go with your nice because you need to have meat. And the thing I like about the turkey tail, it is very oily. It's like because again, really, I know people say that oily meat is not good for you, or you need to have lean meat and rah 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 rah. But lean meat is boring. Okay, it's tasteless, right? You need something that's got a bit of oil in it, to just give you that nice extra taste in it. So that's what you will get in my cafe today.
I
We'll be starting the new
absolutely.
year.
I'm looking forward to it. I've never had turkey tail before, so there you go.
Yes, it is very, very oily. But yes, let's not get distracted now. Before people who say you guys like to talk about food, oh, I'm just even salivating just thinking about it. Um, yes. Okay. So tell me again. So K for Kendra. That's a so right. Okay. So tell us, what's the book about?
So the book is about a 15-year-old girl. It's actually written in first person in her voice, and it's about a
Okay.
15-year-old girl who is so she's going through some things that normal teenagers do, except she's feeling a little bit strange. She doesn't know it, but she's suffering from depression, basically, and her needs are
Hmm.
not addressed within her family, and because she feels like she's alone, she becomes very vulnerable to she just wants someone to listen to her, just
Yes.
to pour her heart out to, and no one will give her that except this uncle that comes into the picture. His intentions are sketchy, and he
Hmm.
kind of feeds on the fact that she needs someone right there, and traps her in this relationship that is not at all appropriate. But it's not just about that, but that's what's going on. And there's all these family dynamics going on around her, because there is a sister that disappeared 10 years ago that no one knows if she's dead or alive. She returns as well, and so there's all this drama that comes out of all of this. So it's there's humor infused in it too, but it's a book that just, I think a lot of families are going through some heavy things these days, and this kind of addresses some of those issues.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. So was there, did you say there was some sort of abuse going on? Because she's only 15, so she's really quite young. So did
She
you say there
is.
was any abuse that went on in the book?
So at one point, the uncle comes back into the picture, but he kind of asks her not to tell the family that he's around. So they
Hmm.
begin, yeah, which is weird to her, but because she's so desperate for attention, she's like okay with it, because he also kind of plays on the fact that she's a future writer, so he gives her a laptop. Um, because she doesn't have anyone to speak to, he gives her an iPhone, so she's got these two electronics that kind of connect them together. And yes, he takes that, and eventually, after a couple of times of them being together, he does actually begin to abuse her. He rapes her the first time, and completely caught off guard she is, but it's not necessarily surprising because she's heard some stuff about him in the family a little bit. So, but yeah, he begins to prey on her for that reason. And she becomes attached to him, though, because he's the only one that seems to pay her any attention. And she doesn't want this particular type of attention, but in order for her to still maintain, this relationship and have someone talk to her, it just kind of happens. Um, yeah, so there is a little bit. It doesn't get graphic into the abuse at all because I didn't want to write that. But
yes, that would be heavy reading.
yeah, it's too heavy. But you do the first scenes, you see it coming up, and then it kind of that's it, and then the aftermath of that, and then after that, in passing, she'll mention, I did this, and so before I was able to fight my way out of the apartment this morning, this happened, but the story goes on, so it doesn't dwell on the abuse.
Right. Okay. So what exactly was going on with her family that they were not paying her any attention?
Their family, again, the sister that disappeared so many years ago, there's pain from that. There's pain behind the fact that she's been gone for 10 years and no one knows if she's dead or alive. There's just, the mother is working a lot. She has a day job. She's a social worker. And then she comes home and she does this little typing job in her bedroom. So she's just basically working just to keep herself a little numb. The father, same thing. Then there's a couple of older brothers. They've got their lives going on. There's a younger sister who's 13, and she's 13, so she's wrapped up in her life. So they're just kind of living their lives through this pain without actually saying, this is what's going on.
Right.
And they're just not really addressing the fact that she's not sleeping well and her grades are dropping and she just seems a little withdrawn. They're just caught up in their lives. Not like they don't care, but they're so caught up in their own pain.
Yeah. You see, now that sort of just, brings to light, the first episode, we had about, child abuse, where it says that, how to, identify a child, who's been abused is that you will see a change of behavior. So, which is quite interesting, that you've also addressed that, in your book. So out of interest, that when you were writing the book, what was your inspiration? Did you do any research to try and make sure that it's as realistic as possible, or was it based on someone's life that you know?
So, this was an easy book to write and a hard book to write. It was easy in the sense that the feelings of depression, I always dealt with those when I was younger, and around that age I'm writing really my feelings as I was at 15 years old, just feeling alone, feeling that no one was understanding me, feeling like I couldn't possibly be a part of this family because no one's getting me. I'm so different from the rest of them. What's wrong with me? And so when I'm writing her thoughts and her words, that's me writing what I felt at that age. And then in my relationships over the years, just with some of my girlfriends, I'm finding that this was very much the way they felt, and so the inspiration is my story and things that I've heard from them as well. So it's kind of every woman's story in that sense, how we were awkward at 15 and we felt so alone and misunderstood. So yeah. The feelings of depression are real in there because that was what I was struggling with then. And that has spilled over into my adulthood. I managed my depression, but there it is. That started back then.
Yeah, okay. So do you mind if I ask about your one, or is that out of the question?
You can ask me.
Okay, so for a long time, right, because I've never really understood, well, I guess sort of back in the day I never really understood it, right, because people always usually have times of sadness and grief and stuff like that, right? And so in my head I always used to wonder, like, what separates someone going through a bad phase and someone who is depressed. And in one of the previous episodes, I think it was Felicia Rivers, she said that what differentiates being sad and what differentiates being sad to being depressed is that with depression, you've been sort of sad, and it's not, those feeling of sadness doesn't go away, and it's sort of a bit more of a long-term thing.
Right.
So is that how you would say it? Like, this, well, I guess yours has been long-term, but then how did you identify that you were depressed? happened to lead to the depression?
And that's the thing. Back when I was younger, I don't think it wasn't even diagnosed back then.
Mm,
Because see, back then people would say if you were depressed, they just kind of say you're crazy. And that's so not the case, It's
yes.
that prolonged sadness, and it wasn't that anything had happened. That's the thing that I also did not understand in myself. It wasn't that anything had happened. Now I realize it was chemical imbalance, there are things going on like that. But there weren't things that were causing it necessarily.
All
It
right.
just was a sadness that kind of just hangs over you. You can't shake it. And it affects your life and impacts your life so much that you're not able to function all the time. And that's where like you lose interest in your schoolwork, and you lose interest in your friends and things like that. So back then I was on my own, just trying to figure out what was going on in my own head. And then because say those around me didn't understand it, that only made it worse, So then you fall further into depression, I think, because now you feel like no one understands me. I'm completely alone. And so, and even though things have changed a lot since then, they haven't, because you're seeing kids who are still hurting themselves or killing themselves because they still have those feelings of being misunderstood. No one understands me. And if you don't have the treatment that you need, where does it end? You're in this for life, unless you get the treatment that you need.
Interesting. See, now what I picked out there, you said was about, chemical imbalance. Can you explain that a bit? Because that's actually the first time I'm hearing that. Because most of the time when you hear, or I've heard about grief, and again, about depression, I'm not an expert at all. So, for me, this is quite enlightening, and I'm hoping that, people who come to our virtual cafe and listen in, they will get they would learn or pick something new from it. So most of the times when you think about depression, or when I think of depression, there's usually like a root cause. Maybe someone died, maybe something happened, so now you've talked about chemical imbalance. I've never come across that. So how does the chemical imbalance work? How did you identify that it was a chemical imbalance? Was it more chemical or more hormonal? Because when you're a teenager, you're sort of getting 13, 14, you have all these puberty, and your hormones are
Right.
changing and things are happening. So what exactly is the chemical imbalance that you were referring to?
I, the only way I can describe it for myself, and let
Hmm.
me just say, in my head, I think of it as like the inner workings of a computer.
Okay.
And when you have, no, actually, no, let's go back and say it's more like your nervous system,
Mm.
and all these synapses that are carrying all these things across. And when there's a breakdown in that, it kind of throws everything off, because nerves are not working the way they're supposed to. Things aren't getting to where they're supposed to, and you've got a breakdown. And in my head, that to me is kind of like what's going on. I feel like I have all this static and this synapses that are just not carrying thoughts and carrying things where they're supposed to. And so that's how I break down. Some of that to me, a lot of things go back to um, what they say, the chemical imbalance. We're just not getting all the things that we need to function properly. And I don't know the science of it, because that's not what I know. I just know that it affects me. The medications that they prescribe these days for people suffering, it just kind of evens out that chemical exchange so that
Yeah.
things are working the way they're supposed to.
Sorry, just hold on 1 second. We're getting food delivery. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Hello? Hello? Yep. Thank you. Hello. So we're
Hey.
getting a nice fancy blender smoothie maker for our virtual cafe, to make nice smoothies. Because I'm hoping, well, that soon enough, I'm delusional that the weather is going to get nice. But then it's a virtual cafe, so I can make the weather whatever I like it to be, right?
There you go. That's right. Exactly.
So yes. So we've got a nice ice lolly maker as well. So that's the plan for the cafe in January. Well, for the new year.
Very
And
good.
hopefully we'll have it all nice and set up in time for summer.
Yes.
So yes, that's the plan. But yes, please, sorry to continue. You know when the doorbell goes ding dong. Even the little human says it, ding dong.
Too cute.
But yes, please do continue.
So like I was saying, I don't know the science of it all. I just know that when I finally, years and years after suffering, finally got on some kind of treatment program and had vitamins and help even out things chemically, now I'm able to manage it. So I don't know how to explain it. Like you, I'm no expert. I just know that things are better because
Yes.
those chemicals are evened out now, and everything's running the way it's supposed to. Yeah.
Okay. So was that a professional that actually said it was a chemical imbalance that's the result, that's the cause of yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I finally went to the doctor, and I think that was more when I was on my own as a young adult, and I did a couple of sessions, that's where I learned things like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense to me now. Now that I know kind of what's going on, it's not to say that all your problems go away, because they don't, but it just kind of helps you, be able to manage them better. So between medication and treatments and talk therapy, you're able to manage all these things. And a lot of times you just need someone just to talk to, someone to hug you and just be attentive, to help you with all the other issues going on. It'll help you maintain, so some of the
You know
simple
what?
fixes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that, what, we all need that, because a lot of times people underestimate the importance of physical contact and hugs
Yep.
and touches and things like that. But then, I don't know if it was the last episode that I said that, or if I was saying this to someone else. Okay, look, right, people, I have baby brain, so, and I've been told that I can get away with baby brain for the next
Yes.
21 years. So, there with me, I will use baby brain as much as I need to. Right? So
There you
there's
go.
my big brain, right? And so in case I didn't say this the last time, but I'm just gonna say it again, I'm probably gonna be one of those people that says the same thing over and over, and you'd be like, oh my god, Segilola, you said this before. Why are you saying it again? Yeah, anywho. Apparently, in some farms, and I heard this somewhere a long time ago, and I don't know if it's still valid, but there are hugging machines for cows.
Oh my.
Because yes, right? Because the science, quote unquote, science behind it is that the hugging machine is supposed to make the cows feel good, give them that extra touch. And that way, because they have all these happy hormones floating through their brain and in their bloodstream, they now produce more milk.
That is wild. That's absolutely wild. Oh my goodness.
You
Well,
know,
okay.
so yeah, so hugging is very, very important.
I
And I
agree
can
with that. Yeah, I do.
um and I can totally see, where you're coming from, with your book, because when today's world is really hectic. Because I mean, I can't speak for America, but in London, the cost of living is extremely high. Childcare is extremely high, right? So you see parents, even sort of young people. Let's say parents, for instance, you see that they spend a considerable amount of their time just working to make sure that they can leave a roof
Exactly.
over their head. So by the time they get
Mm-hmm.
back home from work, they're exhausted. I mean, they're only human. So when they get back home from work, they're exhausted. They don't even have the time for themselves, let alone to start sort of saying to the kid, what's going on. And unfortunately, that's just the downside of, quote unquote, our civilized society. Because again, I think I
Mm-hmm.
read somewhere that you know that how people always say that the grass is always greener on the other side. And I think so. Where was it now? I can't remember. Anywho, so there was a pilot, right? I think it was,
Hmm.
flying a helicopter, and he was flying over somewhere. I think it was somewhere over Africa or something like that. And he saw a man who was fishing, right? And he thought to
Uh-huh.
himself, oh my God, you know what? I would really like the time to just go fishing, right?
Okay.
Then the guy who was fishing looked up at the guy within the helicopter and goes, "Oh, you know what? I would really like to go on. I would really like to have that. I would really like to be able to, have go on a helicopter." And so, two complete extremes. Everyone is desiring what the other has.
And it's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yep. And for that reason, people get caught up in their lives trying to get, what the other person has, and things around
Yes.
them can begin to fall apart. They don't mean to
Yes.
be neglectful of each other. They don't mean to not hug each other and give affection, but it happens. And I think that's the fallout of that is, people, it affects others in the family emotionally, like in the book, it just, she feels the effects of that. And so I think a lot of what happens to her in this book really could have been like headed off if people had just paid her some attention,
Yes.
and yeah,
But
so
then that's I would like to say, and I would like to think, and it's possibly not, applicable, but I would like to think that that's every parent's worst nightmare, because you
mhm,
then have to find a way to balance providing for your family, but then also
mhm,
being there for them, physically and mentally, because at the end of the day, right, something is going to give. So if you keep on doing everything for everyone and you lose yourself, you're possibly going to find yourself just crashing and burning. Because
yeah,
imagine if you then had to do 12 hours a day just to make sure you have a roof over your head, the children are being looked after when they're going to, and then this increasingly vain world that we're in, where children just want. TV, they're always advertising, advertising, advertising. It's like, gimme, gimme, gimme,
exactly,
gimme, 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 gimme. And then if you're not providing those things for your children, it's like, oh my God, you're neglecting your child, you're not caring for your child, you're not this. And there's this, big pressure on parents
yes,
to do all these things, right? And so they possibly they're needing to work 12 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is, right? So when a human being has been, physically exhausted, and then they come back home, they don't really, even if they mentally want to, their
right,
body is just going to crash and burn.
exactly, yeah. I mean, you can only do so much before your body will if you don't stop, your body will stop you. So,
Yes.
it is a shame that life has come to this. It really is. I don't believe it was ever meant to be like this, but you know, it's really a shame to watch. And I'm not a parent, but I watch parents, and I don't even know how they get it all done. I don't even understand, how they get it all done. It doesn't seem humanly possible to
Yeah.
be able to do all of the things that you all do. I don't get it.
I know, you just get on with the program and just deal with it. So, again, Google is your friend. Google is definitely one of the best things that's happened, in the modern world. So,
Yes.
hugging machine, a hug machine is also known as a hug box. A squeeze machine or a squeeze box is a deep pressure device designed to calm hypersensitive persons.
Oh my goodness. What?
Yeah.
I would never have thought. I shouldn't be surprised that such a thing exists. I just never put thought into it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
But it
so
does show how and I love to hug. I'm not one of those like touchy feely people, but I
yes.
do love to hug, and I just think it's important. I don't know. It's just
Oh,
a
it's
good
very
hug.
important.
It is.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't I wouldn't hug strangers or people that I am not close to, but then my really, really good friends, I will say to them, when
Yeah.
you're gonna give me a hug, please do not give me a brother and sister in Christ hug. Give me a hug with a nice squeeze in it. Apparently the Welsh, they don't give hugs, they give kutches, right? And then they give you, a nice little, in the hug, and you're like, ooh, that's just great, right? So kutches are very, you just put a nice little squeeze in it, and you're like, you know what?
That is
I
so
feel
funny.
so
Yeah, I have
better.
some girlfriends that do that. I mean, they really give good hugs, and you're like, you really feel loved by the time they let you go. It's like, oh, yeah, she really loves me. So important. I love it. I love it.
Yes. Okay. So, I'm, still on Google, right? So there's a Daily Mail article. So it's dailymail.co.uk, and this was released on the 21st of June, 2016. And the
Hmm.
title is "The $35,000 Hugging Machine That Can
Oh my
Help Calm Autism Sufferers." Can you imagine that? $35,000 for a hug,
35,000. Are you
right?
kidding
So
me? That I could do that as a
I
job.
kid you. Oh, you know what? That me just seriously, there was something that I saw. Where did I think it was on Facebook, and there's someone who actually gets paid to give you hugs.
Oh my good.
And I think he charges $80 per hour.
Are you serious?
I kid you not, right? And I was like, you know what? That sounds like an amazing job, right? And I think there was actually no, I think there was one who does that, and he does, talk, touch therapy, and then there's another
Okay.
place where it's like a hugging saloon, right? So there's no a cuddling saloon. That's it. So
Okay,
there's
that
a
I've heard of. Yeah, yeah.
so there's a bed with cameras all over the place because you don't want anything inappropriate going on. And
Exactly.
the
Yep.
person, you just come and then you just get a nice cuddle, and then they stroke your arm, and you just think, wow, okay, is this what society has gone down to? That we have to pay to get hugs and cuddles?
And it's true, and I have seen that before because I was so astonished when I heard about it. I'm like, this cannot be true. And yeah, it's a shame that there are people in their lives who don't have people in their lives to hug them, and
Yes.
to touch. I think that's so sad. I really do. That is
Yes.
wild.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so I guess you can see, if adults, we're willing to dish out, $80, $100 to actually just have somebody to give us, that physical touch because it's something that we're missing in our lives. Then you
Mhm.
can then imagine, the effects that it would be having, on a teenager who is, their hormones are going all over the place. They're trying to make sense of the world. Um,
Right.
and then you now have these sharks that are trying to take advantage of them because the parents are literally struggling to survive, right?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And then
How
these
much
these
more
opportunities,
so? Yeah.
yeah, so you have these opportunistic sharks, these pathogens, these viruses. This is because like I literally could not think of anything else to call people like that. The viruses, right? And they then
They
say,
are.
you know what, this child, because your parents are so busy doing all of this, I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to give you that thing that your parents are unable to give you because they're busy trying to provide everything else for you. Um,
Mhm.
and stuff. And I guess again, because we don't do a lot of outdoor things, maybe that's why. Because I think when there's a lot of sunshine and you do go outdoors, maybe that could help. Um,
Mhm.
so right, so story wise, did she Kay, right? No, no, Kendra. So K for Kendra.
Kendra. Mhm.
Yeah. So did she have to go through the 5 stages of grief? Did she find? I mean, I'm guessing that the abuse that she had with her uncle that possibly might have had a bit to do with her depression.
Yeah, it's because she felt so it left her in a vulnerable place. Yeah. And and this is the kind of conversations I want to have with like the young readers of this book because there's a reading book guide in the back, and it's like, um, why do you think Kendra would allow this to happen, or why do you think it went on and on? And I want to hear some of the feedback from the kids or the young adults when they read this book because, yeah, she went. They're going to wonder why would you let yourself be put in a position because that's what they're gonna look at it that way at first. Why
Yes.
would you let yourself be put in that position? To let this man do this not once but twice, possibly three times. Why couldn't she just walk away from that relationship or friendship with her uncle? But yeah, it was that depression. Was the beginning of it because and she wasn't thinking straight and just the
Yes.
desperation to have someone love her, someone demonstrate and give that they love her and give her time. It really kind of excuse me began that way.
Yeah.
So she does go through stages. She has to go through all those stages. Some of them by the end of the book, she hasn't gone through all of them.
Mm.
Um, but you can see how she's going to have to in order to heal. There is
Yes.
another person, there's another character in the book who has gone through similar things, and so that character can begin to help her heal.
Yeah.
So you see some of that language in there, but it's going to be something that she's going to deal with for years to come, you know, and kind
Okay.
of leave it open for possibly a sequel. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, because that was what I was going to ask you next, because you said she's not
yeah,
gone through all the stages of grief yet. So to me,
right,
that is classic. The book is not over yet.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
And I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Like I said earlier, it was easy to write because a lot of it, as far as the depression was, you know, things that I dealt with, but it was hard to write because it was sad as the story unfolded because I didn't always know where the story was going. And I had to walk away
yes.
from it several times. So I don't know how long it'll be before I'm ready to sit down and continue her story. You know, I
Oh
have
dear.
to see, yeah, I have to see how I feel. Um, because it took a lot out of me when I'm thinking of all my own depression in those years when I felt so misunderstood. It was draining, you know. So, but you're right, the story's not yet complete because she needs to go through all of the stages, and she's going to have setbacks in those stages, and there, you know,
Hmm.
it's gonna take a while.
Okay. So if you were, let's say now, okay, you're gonna have to write this now on air now. So if you were going to write her, coming to acceptance, or to accept everything that's happened, what would you write? Because what I'm trying to ask is, so for instance, someone's going through a similar thing and they're in the depression stage, they've not reached the acceptance stage. How would you write for that person to go from being depressed to trying to accept that yes, what has happened, and then sort of trying to move on? Because obviously they've gone through the other stages, they're just in the
Mhm.
one before the acceptance. So how would you do the acceptance?
And that's the question. Here, I'll tell you this much. I do know what would be the title of the second book. It would be called
Mm.
"Start Me as Myself."
Okay.
And and the thought behind the title "Starring Me as Myself" is, yeah, that's the acceptance part because she finally begins to accept, okay, this happened. Now I can, like you said earlier, I can let it define me, or I can get beyond this, you know? And
Yes.
so I would have to figure out what that looks like in a book. Um, and I am playing with the idea, I really am, but it would be about her becoming a confident woman. I'll say this: there's one part of the book where her teacher, she does something that ends up getting her in kind of a detention situation.
Okay.
And instead of keeping her in a classroom after school doing nothing, the principal decides he's going to set her up with a writing mentor, her English teacher, who is her favorite teacher.
Yeah.
And the teacher introduces her to Dr. Maya Angelou. And she's never
Ooh.
really heard, yeah, she's never heard of anything other than the fact that this woman, she's like this old lady in that Tyler Perry movie. And she's like, oh my goodness. The teacher says, please tell me you know more about her than that. And then she introduces her to the book I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, but she doesn't quite hand it over to her because she feels, well, with the subject matter, maybe I should pass it by your parents. Well, Kendra's like, well, I'm going to get that book anyway because she wants to know, because the second book that the teacher introduces to her is Phenomenal Woman. And
Okay.
she's like, okay, she wants to know how someone who wrote about being raped and was abused could then years later call herself a phenomenal woman. That
Yes.
intrigues her. And
Oh,
so, you know, she wants to figure out, how do I get past
that's
this when I'm looking in the mirror at myself and I a phenomenal woman, you know? And
right. So you
so,
broke up for a few seconds there. I couldn't hear you. So she said,
oh, okay.
do I go? How do I go to being a phenomenal woman?
Use looking in the
Hello.
mirror at yourself and just hating yourself for what's
Hmm.
happened to you. How do you then go on to feel so confident and strong years later? You
Yes.
know, to be able to think of yourself as phenomenal. And that's something that she just cannot wrap her mind around yet. But that's
Yeah.
where I want her to go. That's where I see her going later on, you know? And so that's why there is more story there. And
Yeah.
someday, yeah.
Okay. So is this basically what is going to happen in the second book?
There's got to be something in there. Yeah, that'll be like, it'll be a book that is. more
No,
confident, but there's still, I also want to be real to show that there's still going to be challenges for her. And she's going to have
yes.
breakdowns sometimes because, you know, that's just life.
Yeah.
Because
No, no,
something's
what
so.
I'm asking, sorry, what I'm asking is, the bit about, Maya Angelou, did
Mhm.
that happen in the second book or in the first book?
This is in the first book. Yeah, this is in the first book.
Ah, right.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So what was her eureka moment from reading the book, from, finding out more about Maya Angelou?
So just the fact that this woman, she goes and she does research, and there's not a lot of the research that's done in this first book. So maybe that part could happen in the second book. She's introduced to Dr. Maya Angelou in that first book and makes arrangements to get these books, but then it's really not mentioned again later. So that
Right.
probably could be a basis for the second book. Once she's actually learned about this woman,
Hmm.
then she can become herself and become her own woman, and that's why it would be called Starring Me as Myself, because now she's comfortable in her own skin at some point
Yeah.
in the future, and yeah. So I'm still playing around with that. We'll see. You're encouraging me to kind of think about what I could do with the second book.
Yes, but you
Yeah.
need to get it, because now, let's say, people listen to this and they think, oh my God, I really need to go and get this book. You're going to be leaving them really disappointed if you don't start working on
The
the
second
second
book.
book.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because they're going to say, you know what, this author is not even committed to writing her book. So why am I going to invest my time in reading it? No, seriously, right? I've read book where there was only one title out of the series, and I was like, this is just really annoying, and I was really annoyed with the author. So please get writing,
Uh-huh.
woman. Don't get people
Okay,
annoyed with
I
me.
will. I'm saying it on Google Air right now. I'm going to start drafting something for a second book. Okay, yes, I've said it. I've committed. I've got to do it now.
Perfect. Good. That's what we like to
Yes.
hear now. Because when people are going to read it, they're hearing, so they think, oh, wow, okay, this sounds amazing. This sounds really good. I want to see, for me, I'm intrigued about her finding out about Maya Angelou. And, I'm kind of like, okay, I want to see what her eureka moment is. And then, next thing I'm hearing is, oh, I haven't even started writing the next book. And I'm like, well, what's the point then?
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. There are notes that I have for, like, I've sketched out random notes, and that's just all I've done. So yeah, this kind of gives me something to think about. Oh, okay.
There you
Thank
go. There
you.
you
Thank
go. There you
you.
go. You see, that's why people like coming to my virtual cafe.
I'll have to put you in my acknowledgments on the second book.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We do like. I am giving you a bow now. A bow. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And like Will I am said, right? If you ever watch that episode of The Voice, he goes, "I am blushing." You see,
Oh my
I have to,
goodness.
I have to tell you, I am blushing because obviously I've got dark skin, right? So it's not obvious. So I'm telling you now, I'm
Oh my goodness, you're funny. You're funny.
well, even the little human sweat laughing, and she doesn't know why we're laughing. But
Oh.
no. Okay, so tell us about acceptance. Coming to acceptance. Tell us something about that. Coming to terms, coming and accepting things that has happened. What do you have to say about that? What
Well,
one tip would you give to people?
I feel it takes everyone, I think, their own time to come to accept something. I don't think that, like, again, there's a character in the book, like I mentioned, who has had the same thing happen to her. It took her
Mm,
some time to come to acceptance. It's going to take a different amount of time for Kendra, and she can't be faulted for however long it takes for her to come to acceptance.
mm,
So I think it's important for people to, when dealing with someone who's had that happen to them in their lives, don't try to push them. They'll get there when they get there. You can
yes,
encourage them, but you can't fault them if they have starts and stops, and you can't fault them if they take forever to get there and they're kind of
yes,
stuck in that moment.
yes,
It's sad that they're there and you can try to help them, but you can't force them out of it, because I think they could almost relapse if things
yes,
get too real. I don't know. I don't think that's healthy.
yes,
So you just do what you can to be there for them while they're working towards
yes.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, it's them, the person, that has to deal with it and try and come to terms with it by themselves.
Yep. I think
Okay.
that I don't think anybody can force that on and you can't fake it, because if you fake it, I think there's there's a challenge. You might relapse if you're just faking it.
Yes.
And that's not healthy at all. So.
Okay. No, that's fine. Wait. Oh, I've got Felicia here with me. I was just looking and I was like, ooh, who's that? She's coming to the virtual cafe. Hi, Felicia.
Yeah, I see her.
Good morning.
Good morning. See, this is our in the best interest of the child, author. So, and we've got what's it called now? Kamichi.
Yeah,
your name sounds
Jackson.
Japanese. Oh, is that just me being really silly?
Wait, what
Hi,
did you say?
Kamichi.
Hi, Felicia. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Cool. Well, I was just saying that Kamichi sounds Japanese, or am I just chatting rubbish now?
I think it is. Yeah, it's a pen name, so yes, and it is Japanese. And I think someone told me, unfortunately, that it might have something to do with cabbage. I don't know.
Makes sense. We've
how I love cabbage.
Exactly. We've established that you do like, cabbage. Oh, Felicia. So I learned something new today, right? Kamichi. So Felicia was the one who told me about the bear claw. So Felicia.
Oh, okay.
Kamichi, she's then told me today about a Reuben sandwich, and she didn't even know what's in a Reuben sandwich.
Oh my God, I love Reuben sandwiches. My daughter and I will travel miles for a great Reuben sandwich.
Oh, I didn't even know what was in it, Felicia. I didn't even know the meat that was in it. I just know I like it, And so she asked me, I'm like, I don't know.
I love Reuben sandwiches.
It could have been snake meat to all she knew.
Oh, ew. Oh, stop it. You're ruining it for me.
That's what I said.
You eat something and you don't even know what you're eating, right? I mean, I don't know how you guys like it. I'm thinking, well, it could be snake.
Hilarious.
Okay, so wait, right? So there's this Facebook group that I'm in, right? So this lady, she says, she puts a picture. She was like, where was it that she went to? I can't remember if it was Thailand or Japan. She went somewhere in Asia, right? And so she went there for work, and then so the people from work were like, oh, let's take you guys out, for dinner, right? So instead of her to eat in her hotel, she thought, well, work is taking me out for dinner, so I'll go there, right? And so when they're going there, she now sees these cages with the most massive snakes, like the head,
Oh my goodness.
like the head was as big as a kitten, right? That's how big. And she put the pictures there, and then they were like these things that look like giant millipedes. And so she now goes to her goes, oh, so why are there snakes in cages? And I was like, oh yes, because they're gonna be part of dinner.
Ew. Oh.
Ew.
Oh, that's gross. Well, I guess to someone else it's not gross, but to me, I just couldn't do it now.
I need to lay down in a quiet place now. Ew.
So, for the duration of her dinner, she was vegetarian. She had rice.
Too. Exactly.
No sauce. No.
That would be me. Definitely. Ew, I just couldn't do it. I'm not experimental. I don't like to experiment with food.
No.
Oh my God.
I have to know what I'm eating.
Yeah, but you don't know what's in a Reuben sandwich, so that's basically.
I know.
A Reuben sandwich is corned beef and sauerkraut.
Oh, okay, so she knows. I didn't know.
It's corned beef, sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, and Thousand Island dressing.
Oh my goodness.
See, you go. Kamichi didn't know.
I didn't even know that. I'm like, I don't know what the meat is, but I know I like it.
Oh my God, no. You know when you're laughing so much and then your face just feels so hot? Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, my face is just hot.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, right. Let me just give me a second. Just
okay.
Go. Oh, okay. Yes, okay. Yeah, so basically that's it. So yes, Felicia, so Kamichi, she's the author of K, My Name is Kendra.
Correct.
And I got, my baby brain isn't so bad. But don't tell anyone about this, because I use baby brain. And Felicia, she was the advocate. She said I could get away with it for at least 21 years. So that's what I'm doing.
There you go.
Yeah. So Felicia, Kamichi was just finishing up telling me about her book, which in a way is sort of similar to yours, but we don't have a nice, hunky guide to come and sweep us off our feet. So let's see if I remember as well. So it's about 15-year-old Kendra who was abused by her uncle. But then that was not really the focus of the book. She was feeling neglected, that her parents didn't really have time for her because one of her eldest sister or elder sister went missing, and so everybody was just really doing their own thing. No one was acknowledging what had happened. And the little human, she's feeling, she's getting better from her fever, by the way.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so she's not very cooperative. The last few days, she's like, I want you to myself alone. I don't like sharing. Yeah, but she's been good so far. So I'm gonna have to go and get her a nice little snack soon to say, yay, good little human. But yeah, so she's 2 years old and she's like, sorry, mom, I'm not gonna be doing no more serving on the virtual cafe. You can go and get your own drinks yourself.
I'll step over and get mine.
But yes, so basically we were just rounding up. So tell us something though, Felicia, about acceptance. Because see, I was also saying to Kamichi, right, that she needed to get working with her second book because she's not even started on her second book yet, right?
What?
So
Oh
exactly.
no,
What? I
Oh,
just looked your
Exactly.
book up. 2010. Come on, Kamichi.
oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
I said
Yeah.
to her, that's not making people get invested in her because they're gonna read it and think, oh, this is an amazing book, and then it's like 6 years later, nothing has been done. Like, come on, woman, seriously.
Well,
I
okay,
have a
so
question. Is it available on an ebook because it says the paperback's not available?
here, like I was saying in the beginning, I punked out and never published the book. So here's the
Okay.
history. I wrote this book back in 2009. In 2011, I entered it in the Amazon Breakthrough Novel Award competition.
Hmm.
And for weeks, I just kept advancing in the competition, advancing, advancing. And once you get to the top 50, after thousands of people you beat out, that's when Publishers Weekly gives you a review. And that's when
Hmm.
I got a really good review on from Publishers Weekly as part of the competition. And then that was the end of my journey with the book. I punked out completely, put it on the shelf, and did nothing with it. Here it is, 2016. I finally said, okay, I need to put this book out for real this time. And so it's coming out next month. I approved the cover. My reading copy is coming to me. And so in January, the actual book comes out for real for the first time with a brand new cover. We got a completely different cover and everything. And so, yeah,
Wonderful.
Good to
so
hear that.
I'm glad that I finally did this because I think it's an important book. I really am looking forward to this. I'm really, really excited about it. So,
That's
um,
good. We're
yeah, and
excited for you too.
I will still start on my new book, the sequel. As I'm
Please
doing
do.
stuff to promote this one, I will start on the second one because now I'm excited about that too. So, thank you, ladies.
Perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful.
And
Okay.
Felicia, do you know what she said as well? Because she said it on Google Air. So I'm just telling you now because it's there. And she said she's going to give me a little acknowledgement in her book.
I am. I am because she gave me real love and real tough love and told me I better do it. So I mean I have to, and so I'm encouraged. So
You
yeah,
have
yeah,
to
I
now.
have to.
Yes.
I have to.
So I've
Yep.
just got a big head right now, right? It's like I'm not even sure how my head can go past past my doorway, but it's just big.
I'm excited.
But I'm totally excited for you as well. Okay, so Felicia, your book was meant to come out in January as well. How? Because I think I saw a post that you were moving the come out day, publishing day for your second book.
Yes. Yeah, I'm moving it back because I got so engrossed in NaNoWriMo last month, I wasn't paying attention to my editing. So I pushed it book two back from the middle of January to the end of January, beginning of February, just so that I don't want to rush it. It's the book was done when I put the book one out because I
Yes.
literally just took the manuscript and split it in half.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
But then I had Then I had, because it was so long, it was just too long for a first book. So
Mm.
then I just had to go back for book two and do some editing and do some add-ins for the story as a standalone book on its own.
Mm.
Because even though it's a continuation of book one, if someone were to read book two, I didn't want them to be totally lost.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to put enough detail in book two for it to stand on its own.
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
Good.
Cool. So tell us now, what's the word I'm looking for now? How do we see acceptance? How does Olivia, I always want to call her Olivia Pope, right? Seriously, you need to go and check out In the Best Interest of a Child. She just reminds me of Olivia Pope, right? She's just like, she's just there, right? She's very Olivia Pope-ish. Like when Felicia talks about her, Olivia Pope comes into my mind. So how does our Olivia Pope, deal with her nice little hunk? And do we have a rump in the sack? And what else do I want to know? How does she come to terms with everything that's happened? How does she go through the night, the final stage of grief?
It's going to involve forgiveness. And it's not
Mm,
just forgiveness of those around her. Olivia's going to have to forgive herself.
right.
And that's what's going to be one of the final scenes. It's the one thing she hasn't addressed. Because even though she played no part in what happened to her, she has been the catalyst for holding it inside.
Right.
She refused to let it go. She wasn't allowed to grieve, to get through the very first stage of mourning. And so she's held all this inside, and it's been her personal Waterloo for her entire life.
Yes.
And if she felt if she let it go, what would she have? Now she sees she has a chance to have a life, but she has to let it go.
Yes. Hmm. That's interesting. So what's the title for your second book now called again?
It's in the best interest of the child, family matters.
Family Matters. Yes, that's it. Family Matters. And then yours, Kamichi, is starring me.
Starring me as myself.
Me as myself.
Yeah.
I was there. I was there. I was halfway there. But you know what, ladies? It's been absolutely fantastic. And right now, I've been talking so much. I'm hungry. I need to go and get a snack. I need to go and get a snack. Yeah. So unfortunately, this is one of those times where I'm gonna have to kick you out of my cafe. Sorry.
Oh,
Kick us
okay.
out. Kick us out.
Just put us out, but we had a good time.
Yes.
You
Okay.
ladies,
Before I
you
do
ladies
that,
have a good holiday.
thank you, thank you. It's like I'm hoping to have fun. Winter Wonderland is always amazing, so I'm hoping to go and do that. Winter Wonderland in London is simply the best. There's lots
Oh,
of food. You're walking about in the cold air, and there's just lots of street food, and it's just amazing. So I'm looking forward to that this weekend. But
We have
in the meantime, before I kick you out, can you guys let's start with Kamichi because everyone knows Felicia. Kamichi, if people wanted to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
I am really directing people towards goodreads.com right now. I decided that's where a lot of my blogging is going to be done there. So they can just look me up there, connect with me there, please. Follow me, become my friend there, and keep up with all of the writing that I'm going to be doing there. So please find me on goodreads.com.
What's your name on Goodreads?
It's Kamichi Jackson.
Can you spell Kamichi, please? Just make
Sure.
sure,
It's
please.
K-A-M like Mary, I-C-H-I, Kamichi.
Okay, and then Jackson.
Correct.
I think everyone knows how to spell Jackson. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. But then, random question though: why are you sending everybody to Goodreads? Why do you not have an author website?
I actually have one that's coming back up again. It'll be KamichiJackson.com, but my focus is going to be on getting My Name Is Kendra.com is coming up in 2 weeks. But I
Right.
really want people to connect with me on Goodreads as much as possible because I'm going to have a very active community there.
Okay.
So yeah, so KamichiJackson.com and My Name Is Kendra. She's getting her own website.com to
Ooh.
be up. But I want to really have a lot of activity on Goodreads.
Oh, cool. Well, connect with me on Goodreads as well. I like having
Oh, I
friends on
will.
Goodreads.
Oh, good. I'll do that.
Yeah, so my name's my name on on Goodreads. Okay, so how about you, Felicia?
Yes. Help me.
How do people connect with you?
FeliciaDenise.com or Felicia Denise at FeliciaD as in David.com. And I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, Miss Felicia. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Pinterest. I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere, woman.
And I post almost everywhere daily. I am an early poster. So I'm usually up at 3 or 4 in the morning posting, and then I leave and go write and I don't come back.
Oh, wow.
That sounds like
Nice.
fun. But then you're just everywhere. It's like, I mean, I'm only on one place that I'm quite active. Twitter the most, then Goodreads ish. But yeah, okay, fabulous. Well, ladies, I'm gonna go and have something to eat. It's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on as always. And I hope to see you guys soon. Oh, and something that I have exciting coming on in January. Well, this is a secret, but because I like all of you, I'm just gonna tell you my secret.
Until next week, yeah.
I have a lady coming on to the virtual cafe, right? She's booked her slot. She wants to have a nice virtual drink with me, and she's started a reality TV show for authors, 40 writers TV, something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I'm excited.
Reality TV for authors, and apparently it's going to be almost like, I don't know what to describe it as, but let me see if I can go into my email and I will tell you what she said. What's her name now? I'm just rubbish with names, but I know it's one of the people that I can't remember people's names, right? But I just know if I go into thing, and then my inbox is just filled with like 1,001 people that I've written to, and so I have no idea what it is. Wait, let me see.
You know, the funny thing about that is just the other day I said, why don't they have a reality TV show for authors? Because I feel like we have drama. There are things that go on behind the scenes
Much drama, so much drama.
That is so interesting. Now you're saying someone's doing it. I think it's awesome.
It is. So you have to, if you've not subscribed to the show, you better have to so that you get notified when it's going. I think it's going to be called 40 Day Writer, something like that. I've totally forgotten the lady's name now because I've just got baby brain. No, she's got a name. So yeah, so that's something that's going to come up, which I'm actually really, really excited about. I would like to know what a reality TV star producer would do with authors. So yes, that's it.
That's gonna be. You said that's in January. She's gonna come on the show.
It is indeed.
Yes,
wonderful.
Good.
Yes, so that's something exciting for authors. I think in my head, I almost have it like one of those dating one where like 5 women are competing for one man. So that's what I have. So it's like 40 authors competing for a publishing deal. I mean, I don't know what it's about. I don't know what her plan is, but in my head, just thinking about it, I'm just thinking, right, 40 authors, competing for a publishing deal. I just think that would be amazing. Or it would be even better if she had like the equivalent of Gordon Ramsay, because I love me some Gordon Ramsay. But if she had the equivalent of Gordon Ramsay, and I don't know who would be that in the publishing world, Gordon Ramsay equivalent. But yeah, if she had someone like Gordon Ramsay, and then he would be like, "You are fired." No, well, that's Alan Sugar. No, what is Gordon Ramsay?
So the if you write something bad, I guess the punishment would be that they shred it in front of you or something like that.
That would just be wicked. That would be wicked and painful, right?
I'd be like,
what they do when they go and start reading, and then he's like, and then someone you're supposed to use like your as in you are, and then you then go your, and you do that, and you then have to put. You're like, oh my god,
oh no.
So I have no idea what to expect, but that is what this lady is going to be doing. So it's quite exciting times. And you heard it here, so you have to make sure you subscribe so you get notified when it's live.
Definitely.
Okay, ladies, now shush, kicking you out. Bye. Little human, you gonna say bye.
Merry Christmas, ladies.
Bye.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and speak to you in the New Year soon.
Definitely.
Take care.
Take care.
Okay then. Okay. Bye.
Bye now.